Okay, today we're going to be working with blending modes and layer masks, something that you should be familiar with after watching the videos in the Learn It blending modes and layer mask sections on assignment 8 on combining images. So I'm just going to work through um, some of the images for you. So we need to, for sure, download those images from Blackboard and put them somewhere you can find them. I put mine on the desktop. You don't have to put yours there, but you could. Um, you can go to File, Open, or my preference again is just to double click, open the, here's the desktop, shows me the Photoshop folder. Inside of it is Photoshop 6, and I've got 6 images here that we're going to use to create some combined images. First off, I want to open number 1, tree texture. One of the things that wasn't in the videos from Adobe, uh, textures can really be enhanced by using blending modes. And one way is to use a black and white adjustment layer and then using a blending mode on that layer. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You can enhance this texture and really bring it out without affecting the underlying pixels. So if I go here and open an adjustment layer called black and white, you can see it changes the image to grayscale. And now with these sliders, I can change exactly how that image looks in relation to just its darks and lights, really. I'm adjusting the colors, but it's um, the colors as they adjust going to black and white. So there's not a lot of green in this image, so it doesn't really change much. Blue, there's not a lot of blue, but there's a lot of red, as you can see, a lot of red and some yellow. So I'm going to really bring out the texture here that I can. That's pretty good. Okay, now what I can do is use a blending mode to um, blend these two together. So just like you would do if you were adding texture to something else, you can add texture also to an image by using its own image. So here we are. I'm going to use the tip that the man on Flurn gave us, which was just to highlight the layer uh, blending modes and then use the arrow key to cycle through them just to see, okay, there's dissolve, doesn't do anything, darken, doesn't, multiply, that did, color burn, really did, darken color, lighten doesn't do much because we're lightening it, overlay, that does a good job, soft light, hard light, kind of depends, I'm kind of like an overlay right now. Linear, pen, hard, difference, exclusion. None of these are really going to be what I need. Luminosity doesn't really do it for me. So I'm going to go back to overlay. I think that's about the best. If you look and see the difference between that and a really textured image. Now I could grab the opacity slider again and adjust that to full or 50%, 20%, whatever. But I'm going to go ahead and give it the full 100% so that we really get a lot of texture. Now, if you want to see your image as big as you can in your screen, if you'll double click your hand, it'll move it and fill the frame, whatever size you have Photoshop pulled up to on your screen, it will fill the frame with just that image. So you're going to take that image and we're going to save it off. It's already, I believe, the right size, 1,000 pixels, that's fine. And we're going to save this as tree texture. So we're going to add our name to the front, Mike Brown _ and as a Photoshop document. And I'm going to save that off. And then I'll just go ahead and close it. Now I'm going to open these next two images. I'm going to blend these two together. Um, I'm going to open the blue texture, which is going to be my background. And then I'm going to File, Place Embedded, the clock. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and accept that. You can see that with just a normal layer mode, all we see is the layer that's on top. But as we use these adjustment layers, we can see through the top layer and add to it and combine what's on the bottom layer or background. So again, I'm just going to select those layers, and then I'm going to cycle through here and see if there's something that just kind of jumps out at me. Different ones some will include the background outside the clock, some won't, just depending on whether it deals a lot with the white. These first ones are help to darken, so obviously they're going to show the really dark colors, which the background has got a lot of dark colors in it. Now, there's one that kind of drops the background out, but really it's too light. Let's try lighter color. Overlay didn't know. Soft light, hard light. Now, big difference here on sometimes overlay, soft light and hard light look a lot alike, but here the hard light really shows a lot of texture adds a lot of texture to the face of this clock. Probably not vivid. That's a little too contrasty. It's kind of an interesting look. So, it depends on what you're trying to go for. There could be reasons to do any of these. I'm going to go back to hard light. I think that's maybe what I'm going to use. So, if I take that off, that's what the original image looked like. Here it is blended with the hard light. Now, anything I do to this background layer is going to affect the top because of it, shining through. So, we can see some of the blue coming through. If you don't like that blue color, then you could go here and do an adjustment layer of hue saturation. You could change this, to reddish. And then you can see if you turn this back on, the different colors that it would do if you slid the hue slider, or if you move the adjustment for the saturation more or less. You can see that drastically affects how these colors come through the layer. So you're going to do that. You can do as much or little as you want on that, and then you're going to go ahead and save that out as a Photoshop document also. So we'll go to File, Save As, and we'll call that Mike Brown _ number 2, blue texture. And it's already, again, I've resized these for you, so they're about 1,000 pixels, which is plenty for what we're doing. It's not print quality, but it's good enough for viewing on screen and for you to turn in.